Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Vetting America, Episode 7. We're here live at the Tampa Bay Wave at 500 East Kennedy Boulevard in downtown Tampa. Another beautiful afternoon, another beautiful Friday. I'm here with Laura Hartman of Freedom for Prosperity. Thank you so much for coming on the show. How is everything going to you today?
Going well.
So why did you decide to come on the show? What do you want to talk about?
It's Americans for Prosperity, actually, and sorry about that. I don't know if it was put in there wrong. Just a lot of good changes happening in the Tampa Bay area and being able to move forward from here as a community and see the potential growth and the potential economic growth and the potential personal growth that's all happening in this area, specifically with the entrepreneurships.
Absolutely, absolutely. Where did you get your want for service from? You were an Army veteran, correct?
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your military service and kind of, what was
Jump
it like?
into it.
Let's do it. Let's go right into it.
So I'm third generation Army, I'm second generation Mexican American, and I am first generation whistleblower. I've been very active in a lot of different communities as far as serving. I've always served. I served in the Army. I was active Army out of Colorado. And then I was medically retired out in 2006,
okay.
So I've been out a minute. It's been a while. I've seen a lot of changes, a lot of really good changes in the transitions coming back into civilian. Yes. Civilian, I don't know, would you say status? I'm not sure. Life, just world. Identity, finding a new identity, and then from there, yeah.
So, tell us a little about your military experience. Tell us what went down, what happened. I mean, what did you learn? What did you get from it? What was taken from you? So,
I love to serve. I've always served. I was the first female altar boy when I was growing up. I served in Girl Scouts. I smashed Girl Scouts. I just always kept wanting to trailblaze, start new things, and just continue to thrive. The towers came down, and how I speak only and strategically for the simple fact that the courage that the humans possess, that human spirits, on the heroes on Flight 93, when those towers went down and they got those phone calls and just the thought process and how they were working and that inner spirit, that inner connection that they had to band together and to do something about the current situation changed my life. Yeah. It's why I joined. Okay. I ran to the service because I knew there was something more out there that I wanted to be part of for more change, for more good.
Okay. What was the biggest problem you faced and conquered, you'd say, in your life in the last 10 years?
Oh, a lot. I faced a lot. I've faced a lot of adversity in the past 10 years. I've conquered a lot of adversity. When I speak from a platform of surviving military sexual trauma in the military. Okay. I speak from a platform of surviving 3 different assaults, one of them going to a court-martial in combat. Okay. While I was deployed in Iraq. So it's to empower, to enlighten, and to educate, but then also give a platform to know that change is happening, and that to constantly carry a message of hope and forgiveness.
If you could say one thing to military veterans and even active duty military service members that are currently going through the same type of trauma that you went through, what would be some words of encouragement, words of wisdom? What would you say to these people?
Heal. Be able to forgive self and forgive others around you. Be able to step forward in your truth. To not let any situation or any circumstance that you're currently facing, no matter the retaliation, no matter how hard it is, to currently and always stand in it. To have the courage and the strength to step forward. To have the courage and the strength to know what you're doing is right and just, no matter the retaliation. Because if retaliation does come, that is not your wheelhouse. That is on them. That is on their karma. That is on their journey. That has nothing to do with you and a reflection of you. And one of the biggest pieces that's helped me heal is to stand in the truth and to be in it and to understand that everyone's just vibrating and functioning at their own level. And unfortunately in the military, that can be a negative light and negative energies towards it breeds perpetrators, if you will. That old military culture, which is now shifting, had that content to do that. So I like to be in the circles that are changing that movement, knowing that the pendulum is shifting away from that. How
were you able to regain power? Because it's assault like that, those types of assaults are all about taking power away from someone and giving it to another person, or taking it for themselves. How were you able to get your power back? How were you able to find that light and get out of your darkness?
First, understand that I was in the darkness, and first understand that there was darkness and that there was light and that there is truth and that there is strength, and that where I focus my energy, time, effort, and talent is in the light. And I choose to focus my energy, effort, talent, and time in the light, knowing that more light will attract more light.
Considering what you went through in the military and how hard it is just for someone who may have not gone through the same things that you went through and still struggle through transition, what was your transition like, and how were you able to traverse the obstacles that you found yourself in, and what were those obstacles to begin with?
In 2006, the transition was completely different than it is now in 2018. We now have a sea of goodwill, if you will. There's a lot of really good organizations that want to do a lot of really good, and then there are a lot of different organizations out there to help transition, a lot of community-based. I did not have that. When I was out, it was literally handed a pink slip. You know, you were in your PT uniform. I worked in a hospital prior to getting out. I worked on a respiratory floor. It didn't matter what your criteria was. It's like, here, we need you to do a blood gas. You're going to get trained on site. Go and do it. You just adapt. It's just what you do. You have no other choice but to adapt to the current situation at hand and drive forward. And it's empowering to be in that sense. But at the same time, when I transitioned out, it was isolated, lonely, and I went back to comfort. I ran to my family, and I ran to my sisters. They were both my strengths growing up, and we're very spiritually bonded. We're very, very connected. We've always been very connected. So that was a lot of comfort for me to have my family. And then I within 2 years, started nursing school.
Okay, that's right.
So I was going from institutionalized to more institutionalized to less institutionalized. So it was a gradual process for me to become uninstitutionalized, if you will.
I truly believe that. I went from the military, total institution, to college, which is an institution. I wouldn't say it's a total institution. You have freedom still. But that scaling of transition really helped me, because in the beginning it was very tumultuous, but I had the support of my family around, I had the support of the institution of college around, around like-minded individuals trying to improve themselves. I don't think I would have been as successful in my transition if I didn't have that support system around. So when did you know that you weren't all right coming out of the military, and when you knew you needed to kind of build that relationship with yourself and really figure out who Laura Ann Hartman is?
One of the challenges when you're medically retired or medically discharged from the military, it's they told you, they said you have PTSD. Okay, well, there's no longer a D on it. It is a condition. It is a sickness. You can overcome it. There's a lot of growth. There's a lot of balance. There's a lot of different treatment modalities for that. So understanding that first, that I'm not a label. I'm not what they quote unquote told me I am, and I'm definitely not quote unquote what they pay me to think I am.
True.
So once I had those awarenesses, I'm like, this isn't me. Let me look at what's going on. Let me look at my current situation, and how can I help my brothers and sisters? How can I help the other females who are still in this? And how can I help the other men who are terrified to even come forward?
That's so true. That's so true. How did you find yourself becoming a social influencer, a social entrepreneur, as you claim to be? Nursing
school. Healthcare ethics changed my life. My healthcare ethics courses, working with the Sisters of Charity, indulged in the healthcare field, and having the opportunity to work at the VA, which when I stepped forward and that bag of worms became open and disclosed to me, was a way for me to see a problem, address it head on, with multiple people beside me, so I wasn't doing it alone, coming forward to do the right thing, reporting the specific physicians and instances that we had reported against at the Cincinnati VA hospital that were not up to par, not moral, not right, not just, not what my friends died in combat for.
Did you fret about that decision at first, when you saw the injustices happening, you saw the care not being given the way it should? Did you, a part of you go, that's not my battle, that's not my fight, or I don't want to get in trouble, or did you see it and said immediately went after it?
The first time during some documentation, I had a lot of questions during my documentation stages of why are we documenting this specific medicine this specific way? Why are we asking this specific questions? This doesn't make sense, these interactions, and I was indulging in that in my research class, let alone my healthcare ethics classes. While I was doing that, I had a lot of, not doubt, but second guesses to what is being hid? Why am I thinking differently? Does everyone else see this? And then I would bring this up to the other nurses on the floor, and their response to me was, it's not in our wheelhouse, or we don't have the courage. I have bills to pay. I have children to feed. And it was chasing that money. Right. And once that rat race to chase the money, it's like, what would you do if money were no option? What change would you want to create? What is your gift? What is your moonshot idea from here of how you would solve this problem? And go from there.
Were you a registered nurse in the VA?
No, I wasn't. I was never registered. Okay. I have a BSN. I hold a BSN. I have 2 minors. I have chosen not to get my license after I had came forward as a whistleblower, and the retaliation happened, and then the threats came, and then the harassments came, and then stalking, and I could go on. Laundry list of stuff that I choose not to give energy, time, or effort towards, and only focus on the growth that's come from that, and understanding I wouldn't be where I am today. Yeah, I could go and quote unquote test and pay thousands of dollars to sit in front of a trial and have this license come, but for what? Yes. To be limited? Government overreach. So I'm just like, that's not my wheelhouse. I have a stronger passion to help veterans in the trenches, if you will, in the field.
How are you doing that?
I do it several different ways.
Okay.
One of the ways is working with Americans for Prosperity and having our sister organization, Concerned Veterans for America, and creating and helping cultivate pieces of legislation, finding different problems in the community that veterans are facing, specifically transition out of the military. What is the solution? What is one's way solution? Specifically understanding how vital words are and how important words are. And if we're giving veterans, one of our biggest complaints when we kept coming forward at the VA was our questionnaires. The questionnaires, you're priming them to think a specific way, thinking something is an option when it shouldn't be, or it's null. And they're doing that for legal, and then there's just so many compliance that kept crossing over, none of us were comfortable with. I'm like, so in the essence, you're leading them instead of going the other way. And instead of giving courage, strength, hope, inspiration, zeal, enthusiasm, encouragement, all the above, wisdom, hope, strength, dissolve. But to understand in that process, I've worked with the Boston Red Sox Foundation, I left the VA. I started doing a lot of philanthropic work for different organizations, one including the Boston Red Sox Foundation, partner with Home Base, partner with Harvard Medical School, and the research that they were doing, and being able to have alternative care outside of the VA that works mind, body, spirit balance. Importantly, include your family. So it wasn't just myself that received the care, and in this research essence, it was myself and my family. So your family can be your girlfriend, your boyfriend, it can be your husband, your wife, it can be, they have pet therapy there. For me, it was my siblings. I'm very close with both my sisters, so both of my sisters and I, we went through this. But it's to build that community, to build that connection again, knowing that there are other ways to express yourself, there are other ways to communicate differently, there are other ways to heal and understand the power of words. So thing that I was there, and what most of as a community nurse now, most of my research has gone into is the questionnaires. So when I was sitting there going through the questionnaires, it leads you to want to be more engaged in society, and engaged in life, and engaged in politics, and engaged in creating different policies to create more social change, to be an influencer of our brothers and sisters who are still in it.
Okay. What kind of social change are you shooting for? What are you trying to achieve in terms of the social change? Because we hear social change warriors, social justice warriors, we hear all these terms being thrown around all the time, and very often there's an overarching idea of what it is that they're trying to change. But speaking with you're very specific. You're very, very niched when it comes to the change you're trying to employ. What is that change exactly?
That's a great question. That's a great, my mind just in 3 different ways. I'm like, oh, I can get this way. The first thing, and it always wholeheartedly, I am in the saving lives business. I took an oath to defend the Constitution. I took an oath as a nurse to be completely transparent. I took an oath for accountability. So for me, to be laser focused on saving lives in the essence of doing what's right, or what is just in situations. So specifically, and I don't like talking about this statistic, but specifically the statistic with female warriors at the very high suicide rate that they have.
It's growing. It's
disgusting.
Yeah, it's getting crazy.
It's 8 times higher. I don't even like these. It's high. It's very, very high. It shouldn't be high. It's so to cultivate women warriors together, to have them have a voice, to have them have a story, to have them create platforms, to let them know, like, we are not situations that happen, including men, we are not situations that happen to us, and that suicide should not be an option.
Absolutely. How did you fall into... You're one of the most passionate people I know. You really are, just naturally in life, for everything you do. That's why I feel like we relate so much, is because life in general, we're just passionate about everything.
Yes.
Like this Post-it note right here, this Post-it note, this is the greatest Post-it note I've ever seen. I don't know what it is about it, it's just we love it, you know?
We're very enthusiastic. It's our passion. Pain to passion, to purpose.
Ooh, I like that. Pain to passion to purpose.
Right?
Wow, I like that. I might coin that. Maybe I'll change the name of the show.
It's all you.
I'm taking
Have fun.
I'm taking it. But with Americans for Prosperity, why was that the organization that spoke to Laura? Why was that the organization that you felt would allow you to fly?
The simple fact of knowing our sister organization, knowing the overall mission is for personal responsibility, is for limited government, and is for free enterprise. All 3 things for which I wholeheartedly stand for, wholeheartedly believe in. Understanding that's how we, so clichély, that's how we unite this country. There's more commonality, there's more inclusivity than the media wants to portray. The media will tell you a story to portray one way, trying to persuade, and it's very frustrating, but that's where my passion comes from. That's where the pain to passion to purpose all folds in.
And why do you feel that free market capitalism will allow for the country to come together and truly take our consciousness? In my opinion, we're coming to a point where consciousness itself is starting to elevate.
Yes.
And that's where you are, that's where I am, that's why we relate, and that's the message we're truly trying to push out to the masses is we've been existing here for so long, but there's so many more levels to ascend to.
Yes, yes, yes.
Why do the values that you fight for provide everyday Americans with the opportunity to ascend to higher levels of consciousness?
And I am going to use a direct quote from this book. It's called Good Prophet. And the direct quote that I wholeheartedly believe in and embody and have seen firsthand on so many people's different journeys and lives: free people are capable of extraordinary things.
That's so true.
Charles Koch quoted that, and it's so profound and true, and to the depths of allowing people opportunities. Freedom is a birthright, and when we all step into that, we are all capable of extraordinary things.
I believe that we almost manifest chains for which we hold ourselves back with in our own lives. Beyond, we live in a free country, but yet it's as if, you know, depression's at an all-time high, anxiety's at an all-time high, suicide's at an all-time high, statistics, but it all comes back down to this materialistic, superficial pursuit of happiness we have in this country. How is being free, both in mind and in principle, helping us kind of free ourselves in a way?
What I keep hearing, like when you were saying that, it's the simple fact of internal barriers and external barriers, and understanding that internal barriers is more self-awareness. It comes with healing, it comes with growth, it comes with studying, it comes with education. So if education is that cornerstone to have all those manifest, then it's to teach. Then it's to go in to teach different courses, different classes to different sectors, understanding to go in and teach the Constitution. We were just having a conversation about the First Amendment while we were standing here. It's just those natural flow to us because we seek those that are viable, attractor tribe, if you will. So that's just a natural flow conversation. And people do want to talk politics. They just don't want to talk politics with butt heads. They want to talk politics with people that they can relate to, who understand them, who are like, this is real, this is tangible, I want to share my ideas. I want to share and cultivate change. Where are you at? How do you do it? What platforms do you have? What tools are in your toolbox? How can we build community? And to be able to do that in a way that empowers them and not shuns them, separates them, divides them, puts them in labels, and keeps separating them, creating more diversity. Right.
Yes. So doing what you're doing with this movement, with
Movement
Americans
of
for
Millions.
Prosperity.
Yes.
What have you learned? Like, I want to know.
I've learned that I know nothing.
That is. I forget whose quote.
That is not my quote exactly.
But no, it's they say once you're truly
student
wise,
for a lifetime.
You're truly wise when you realize that you do not know anything, and that comes back down to it's why we do everything.
Right.
It's why I choose to listen to everybody's story, because I truly know nothing. Teach me. Right now, you're teaching me. I want to learn more.
We have a Grassroots Leadership Academy course, actually, and it's starting July 11th.
Yeah.
And I'll shoot you the link. You can post
absolutely.
it up there.
Oh, I post it on this website. How do we get in contact with? How do we get access to all these resources that you're a part of and enacting? What's the website? What's the Facebook link?
AmericansForProsperity.com. And for veterans, so it's CV4A.com. They'll both be posted in there, I'm sure. We also have an event on Saturday in the Tampa area, St. Pete Beach, actually. We're going to be meeting at the Postcard Inn on Saturday to do our National Day of Action, and specifically going door to door, meeting our neighbors, having conversations with them, and just being able to use electronics and technology in a way that can be very helpful and meaningful to collect information and create more change. So we're doing like ID checks. Some people call it canvassing. In political circles, that's a term that's very commonly used. So that is Saturday is our National Day of Action, and we will be meeting at 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. You'll give you my email information. You can throw it up there on the link as well for more directions. It's an Eventbrite link. You just go in there, you fill out the information, and it will send you the address. Tickets are free, free swag, free food. Come on out, have a good time, meet other like-minded people, and see how we can create more change, specifically with the Tampa Bay race stadiums, our current fight that we're going against.
You're going against?
Well, in the sense of, sorry, let me correct that. We are going against public funding for it. If they can privately fund it to move it, all that they want, but it's my civic duty. Again, I've taken multiple oaths, so I'm very, very proud of those. So it's my civic duty to know how my tax dollars are being spent and to hold them accountable if they're getting tax breaks and carve-outs and loopholes and special treatment that my brothers and sisters aren't getting. Then anyone, not just veterans, anyone in general. Any taxpayer in that sense, but it's very disheartening, so we hold them accountable.
How'd you get your start with this organization?
I volunteered for 2 years. My passion has been there.
Yeah, but there was a start.
There was.
I want to hear the story.
So my start story, the Pulse nightclub shooting, Orlando Pulse nightclub shooting, that happens Saturday evening, and that Sunday morning, my friends had known, my Ohio friends, I had just moved down here to Florida, and my Ohio friends and my friends across the United States only knew that I lived in Florida. They didn't know if it was Miami, Tampa, Orlando, and so that would have been a place that I'm very familiar with. So they're like, hey, are you alive? You haven't checked in safe on Facebook. And I'm like, here goes social media again. Like, I don't watch TV, I don't watch the news. Like, I constantly are studying to get research. And it immediately had this fear inside of me. Like, it literally felt like I had just rolled out the gate again, in theater. Like, when you tighten every muscle in your body and you're about to roll out the gate, you just fire their 50 cal and you're heading out that, and you don't know what's outside that wire, but you're feeling some type of way. Like, that way. That's when I was like, I am on home turf. This is my backyard. Oh, okay. And then that's when it came to me, foreign or domestic. And I was like, So I looked at my phone that Sunday morning, and it's like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you alive? Are you alive? Are you alive? And I'm like, I'm not in theater. Like, I'm not actively in Iraq. I am in Florida. It has been 10 years, and people still are in this mindset. And that's, I'm like, my friends don't know that they don't know, because we're all still in it. So immediately, I reached out to Concerned Veterans for America, and I drove an hour and a half from Fort Myers up to Clearwater, and I drove up there and was like, I have to be here. If not me, then who? If not now, then when? It's true. And I just sat in this meeting listening, and I was like, there is a lot that I agree with, and there's a lot more questions I have right now, too. But it was the VA accountability. And I walked in there, and it was just synchronicity after synchronicity, and then now I understand it's all spontaneous order, how it's meant to be in the essence of once you're aligning with pain, to purpose, to passion, to drive, to create social change around a free market, more good will happen. And that's it. Like, I walked in there, and then I was like, I'm home, and I volunteered. I drove across the state. I've been up to the Tallahassee, up to the Capitol building several times, been to DC, just constantly back and forth, writing, working, just I love it. I love all of it.
So what's next for Laura? What do you have planned coming down the line? You know, what are you trying to accomplish in the next couple of years?
I've got some things on my sleeve. I've got some things.
You got a lot of things up your sleeve.
Not getting that one out of me.
There's not enough sleeve for how many things you have up them. All right, so she's not gonna give us a sneak peek into what's coming down the line. You just have to follow her.
There you go.
I'm teaching her a little bit about social media marketing and branding.
I know too much, but there's that.
We're gonna get her building that brand. But so what I want to pivot to. We've talked about your military service a bit. We've talked about your job now, your activism. Now we get to my favorite part of the conversation, because that's what it is. It's conversation. Interview, conversation, same thing. Let's talk about what we love to talk about. Mindset, perspective, wisdom, growth, development.
Yes. All the above.
Did you, when you joined Americans for Prosperity, were you already successfully transitioned, or did it help you with your transition?
Both.
Explain.
They teach perspectives. Okay. They teach an awareness overview that I immediately connected with. Okay. I knew there was more out there. When I was going through all my psych nursing training, I just wanted to focus on the psyche. I just wanted to talk more about the psyche. Why aren't we focusing on the psyche? And my research was specifically targeted on post-traumatic growth because of that psyche development, the sixth sense, the ability to connect, the ability to have information you don't know why you know, you just know, and then you're like, oh.
Intuition. Yeah, it's my favorite. It's just incredible, that feeling alone. That feeling alone where you've never been in a situation, you are completely out of your comfort zone, but yet you still just know what to do. For some reason, if you trust yourself.
And that's very common in the military, especially with the near-death experiences. When you have a near-death experience or a very heightened stage of fear in that essence of who you are and where you're at, and your life is being threatened, or there's some type of chaos going around you, or conflict, or mortared, or wherever you're at, or literally going out like I just described, we all have this heightened awareness, which is a gift, I believe, is a gift.
Me and Laura we have our own little mastermind group that we do every Friday, which I love. It's my favorite conversations I've ever had in my entire life, and it happens every week now. It's amazing. We talked about vibrations and frequencies today, and I know a little bit about it. A little bit. I haven't really researched it yet, because after this conversation today, it was incredible. Let's talk a little bit about what you know about vibrations and frequencies, and how your studying of that has helped you heal others, but then continue to grow.
Words carry a frequency with them. I believe words carry a frequency with them. So when words are stated, like I think we're speaking of Ho'oponopono, and those are 4 frequencies. Thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And the way that you say those words carry a higher vibration, a higher frequency. So if you want to create more connections, if you want to create more like-mindedness, you speak and you vibrate at a higher level. You have a higher mindset. You have more elevation than you would in a layman's world, or the media world, or the masses, however you want to describe that. But it's the ability to cultivate and then be able to manifest, in the sense of your thoughts create your reality, and then your reality, use that to help heal others, to help others grow, to help connect others, to help others have dreams and visions, to have them follow their hearts and find their drive, their purpose.
I truly believe that in order to be happy, we must be purposed. But in order to be purposed, we must love ourselves. And in order to love ourselves, we must find out who we are. What is keeping us? These social and cultural constructs that we are programmed and raised with are all anti that. It's all superficial, results-based approaches to success and to purpose and to life. Where is that starting? Like, where do you believe the age is to where we go from you can do anything, you can be creative, you can change the world, to you got to go to college, you got to get a job, you got to do this, and you stop living for yourself and start living for the idea that the world around you is saying that this is the only way through, this is the only path to happiness, to success. Where do you feel that disconnect is in our society today?
I was born disconnected, if you put it like that. Like, I was born challenging systems, quotas, I was born a barrier breaker. I know that. I've come out with the purpose to know that that's one reason I'm here. That's a lot of life experiences keeps reaffirming this is where I'm supposed to be, aligning to where I'm at. Studying, bringing quantum physics into that sentence, or bringing frequencies and vibrations into that. If where we're all experiences a frequency, it's an energetic frequency. It's science. It's at the same time people you can bring it spiritual. You can put whatever term on this you want. It's still here. So if I speak of it from that sense, I want to speak of fear, because then that would be fear. Like fear. Why didn't the other nurses step forward with me? Fear. They wanted to. They saw it. It's that drawing on your inner strength and your inner courage to follow through. So understanding that everyone has that inner courage, that inner strength within them, their highest self, their best self, their angels with them. There's different people, the ultimate, the universe, the highest. What were some of the words you're throwing around? However you want to identify that deity.
I don't remember.
However you want to identify that. Just to be with that and to know that everything's an ebb and flow, constant flow.
It is.
So if you're in that constant flow, to stay in that flow. So you get more divine messages, more divine connections.
Okay, I like that a lot, actually. I'm going to digest
Fear
that
is an illusion.
We manifest our realities. It's what it comes down to. I mean, I'm not saying it's easy.
It's worth it.
But it's worth it, you know, and we talked about something.
And we're
today.
military. We like to do hard. We like to not do easy.
To max. What's we talked about today how a lot of times we take things personally when it's not about us.
A reflection of ourselves. Yes. Okay.
Yes. So let's talk. I want to hear your opinion on why it is people take things so personally, and why we can't take an objective stand back from the emotion and see that the person or thing that may be hurting us is out of our control, and to see that it's on them to be doing what they're doing. It has nothing to do with us. Like, where's that connection, disconnection? How do you think why do we do what we do?
I don't know that answer. I wish I knew why we did what we did in the sense, but it would be, like, my mind just keeps going to personal responsibility, that when we are having an interaction, what I see in my interpretation is only limited to my perspective. And I only have that one perspective. So to be able to get a different point of view, a different person's story, a different perspective, a higher frequency, a different viewpoint of it, and then look at it from an objective state. Take that eagle-eye view. Take that step back and be able to look down. Take the ability to see that people are all on their own journeys, and you don't know what they're going through, and you don't know why they're doing what they're doing, and to not judge it, but to release it, and then to stand in your highest truth, in your highest self. So when you're in your highest truth, in your highest self, for the best connection of the masses, of the whole, of everyone, for your brothers and sisters, whatever you're drawn to, when you're in that higher state being, to stay there so you can function, so you can create more change and more connections.
And alignment. We talked a lot about alignment today, and finding that balance where you're living for yourself, but you're also living for others, and creating that synergy in your life to where greatness supersedes the darkness. And that's all we're trying to go for. Last bit. Ready? My favorite part. This is my favorite part of the show. I ask on every show, if you can give a transitioning military service member a sage piece of advice to help them successfully transition and find their happiness outside in this world, what would it be?
Don't be labels. Be your genuine, authentic, true self. And leaving the military and having that uniform, that rank, that sergeant, that drill sergeant, that modality in you, if that doesn't fit you, be honest with yourself. Because no matter how many lies you tell yourself, the lies will still be lies, and you will know that.
Well, this wraps up another edition of Vetting America here at the Tampa Bay Wave. I'd like to thank Laura Hartman for coming on the show and sharing your wisdom. It was incredible, as always. I'm going to be on the beach with her tomorrow.
Canvassing, that's what we're going to be doing. Yes.
She's finally got me to come out.
Let's do this. We're excited.
And I want to thank everybody for watching today, and have another beautiful, blessed Friday afternoon here from Tampa Bay. Talk to you soon.